Hey, it is your girl Lise, and this is another episode of Lise is Live. And today I want to talk about poverty. And I know poverty, it just sounds like such a sad ass term. Like, oh God, poverty, the poor people. But what the fuck is poverty nowadays when in San Francisco, low income is considered to be over $100,000 a year? Poverty has transformed to me, at least in my lifetime. Whereas, when I was younger, and I was young, I'm not saying, of course, poverty has always been an issue with any human society. I'm not, downplaying that poverty never existed. But there was a time where I remember when there weren't so many people living on the street. And there weren't so many people struggling with 2 or 3 jobs to barely afford to live, in the city where they've always been from. In recent years, the cost of everything from housing to food, energy, gas has continued to rise. The demand for consumer products like cell phones and computers and every which little thing that corporations feel like they can sell you has increased, and yet wages and pay has not seen a significant rise in the past couple of years. I know at least in the past 4 years, I've been working in the same industry, and my rate of pay usually starts at a certain level, and over time it'll go up. The first year it kind of did that and it went up, and it went up because I got a promotion, and say if you don't get promotions, so say if you work in at a place where there's not a lot of room for growth. I've worked at places where there was not a lot of room for growth, and yet I cannot really afford to live out here on my own. At one point I could. And that's what's crazy, because I always remember, when I was younger, around 18, 19, I had a job that paid relatively the same that I make now. I swear to God. And I was able to live, I had an apartment, I had a car, I had insurance, I'm on vacations, I was living this middle class life that America really kind of sells people. It's this is what you want, And now I feel like to attain that kind of thing, you really do need at least 2 or 4 jobs. At least here in the California West Coast Bay Area, you do. And it's shocking to me how people don't take the time, you feel like, okay, I have a job, I live outside of a home, so I'm not that poor, but I live in this home, and yet I have no food, I don't have insurance for if something happened to this home, I don't have all these kind of safeguards, I don't have a lot of savings, I barely make it from, paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, and unless I'm doing some really Olympic style saving, and it's hard to do Olympic style saving when things come up. When earlier this year, there was some issue with my job where I couldn't work for a couple of days, not because I wasn't able to, but just because of the situation that was going on with the state of cannabis at the time. But that period, by the grace of God, I was living with a family member who was very supportive of me. But I understand that this is a great privilege to have right now, because when I go to work and when I walk the streets, I see so many people that have been abandoned. I guess it's abandoned by capitalism and that idea of, trying to attain this life, because it's so out of reach. It's so far-fetched, especially out here. And so yeah, the face of poverty has changed significantly from just people pushing buggies down the street to working people who appear to have things together. So, one thing I do want to ask or want to engage with you and with you guys is, how do you see poverty in your community, and then how do you feel, or do you feel like there's an effort to address and correct or address, and I don't know. I don't even know if that's the question. It's not so much to address it, but it is like, what can be done sustainably about it that doesn't include finding people jobs and finding people like housing, because there are plenty of empty buildings and spaces where I'm sure if if the government wanted to, could open up these spaces and house people. But I think what it is these people have kind of given up on that capitalism shit, and since they are kind of seen as disposable. And I don't know, I work a job where I feel like I am very replaceable. Like, it's not like I'm significant in this position. As soon as I leave, I'm sure they'll refine someone else. And this is how we are treating each other. This is how the system is treating us, and in turn, we are, as humans, are treating each other the same way. And I don't think that capitalism is going to fix homelessness or poverty. I think we really have to radically think about something different, some kind of different system that really works for the sustainability of human beings and not monetary profits. Well, that's today's episode, but thank you. Awesome.